It's Friday, October 23rd, 2020. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Quick video tonight. Just wanted to recap on a few things and just talk a little bit about these markets. The stock market is no doubt a ticking time bomb. There's absolutely no reality in these markets at this point. They are a ticking time bomb. And just watching them this morning, basically, they're not going to do anything. These markets are not going to do anything until there is more stimulus injected into these markets. They are so addicted to stimulus. These markets are so detached from reality. They cannot move without more stimulus. These are extremely concerning times, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm really praying that all of you are preparing for the economic fallout that we are going to see when reality comes to America, when reality comes to Wall Street. It's going to be a very disastrous time for so many people. A good article in The Hedge today titled "Value Investing Legend Sees Bubble Like No Other, Bursting in Weeks or Months." And I'm going to go through this article and paraphrase a little bit for you, but this gentleman, Jeremy Grantham, he's an investing icon. Back in June, he took his $7.5 billion portfolio to a net short position for the first time since the financial crisis, and he said this will end badly. Now, on this past Wednesday, he said the U.S. stock market is in an unprecedented bubble. It is a rally without precedent, the fastest in this time ever, and the only one in history that takes place against a background of undeniable economic problems. Take a look at the problems with this economy. Take a look at the tens of millions of people unemployed. Take a look at the federal debt. We are $27+ trillion in debt. $200 trillion if you include unfunded liabilities like Medicare, Medicaid. Take a look at the unfunded pensions. Take a look at the bankrupt cities like Chicago. Take a look at the bankrupt states like Illinois. Just take a look at what's going on. Take a look at the infrastructure. Take a look at the vacant stores, the vacant restaurants, the permanent closings. Take a look at the median average salary of an American right now and look at the average price of a new car and the price of a new house. This is all unsustainable. He said on Wednesday, we are in a bubble, but it is unlike any other bubble. He said everything on Wall Street is overpriced. My bet is that reality will catch up with the price to earnings ratio. It's a matter of weeks or months, not years. This is what Jeremy says. And obviously, a very wealthy individual, and this is what he sees. And I couldn't agree with him more. And you need to be thinking like this billionaire. You need to be protecting yourself. You better be protecting yourself. Wolfstreet.com, housing market goes nuts. Everyone sees it, but it can't last. Somebody in this article called this recovery that we're in right now the FU-shaped recovery, that it's helped to boost the housing boom, that it's helped to boost the stock market. Remember, the Fed threw $3 trillion at the markets to inflate the price of stocks, to inflate the price of bonds, to inflate the price of housing, etc. So the people who got this bailout, they took this money and they enriched themselves with this $3 trillion. But at the same time, while they're out going and buying these overpriced bonds, stocks, and houses, FHA insured mortgage delinquencies skyrocketed to a record 17.4% in August. 23 million people are still claiming state and federal unemployment. Remember, millions have rolled off of unemployment. There's probably at least 30 to 40 million people currently unemployed in America. These people who got the bailout, who got a piece of the $3 trillion, it wasn't me, it probably wasn't you, but the people that did, they're laughing all the way to the bank. Wow, another group of Americans are struggling because they can't access the credit because or the credit to buy a house because credit standards have been raised. You also have tens of millions of people, as I said earlier, unemployed. They didn't see much of the $3 trillion. 7% of all mortgages right now are in forbearance also. So that's 7% not paying a mortgage payment right now. These people not getting a bailout. They're wondering how in the world they're going to get caught up, how they're going to, when the forbearance expires, how they're going to begin to pay for it. Surging home prices, like the ones we're seeing, are taking a terrible toll to pay for buyers, except for those with wealth. The people with wealth, the people who got the bailout, the people who got the piece of the $3 trillion, well, sure, they're going out and buying houses. They don't care. They're buying lots of houses, so you can rent one of them because you're never going to be able to own one. You'll be able to rent one. But, you know, I just wonder, when we look at these surging home purchases, how many of these are institutional investors, private investors, how much of this are people refining their homes and using their home as an ATM machine? Remember this, as home prices surge, the market will inevitably run out of buyers willing and able to buy. Sooner or later, it's just not going to make sense, and there's just not going to be enough buyers out there. Even with record low interest rates, when you have an economy like the one we have right now, where people by the tens of millions are unemployed, where people see uncertainty, don't know if they're going to have a job tomorrow, where the average American is earning $34,000 a year, where 50% of people's income, so many millions and millions of people, 50% or more of their income is going just to rent or pay mortgage. These people are one event away from losing everything. There's a lot of supply waiting in the wings, and I want to stress this. They're telling you there's no supply, it's going to get hard to get a home. That's baloney. There's a lot of supply waiting in the wings. And the people out there who have the assets, who have the cash reserves, who have the patience are going to capitalize on the biggest housing crash America has ever seen. Homes whose mortgages are in forbearance and delinquent are going to be sold at some point. That's going to be millions. Half of those homes right there, those people are never going to get caught up on, are never going to be able to make a mortgage payment. Why? Because they don't have a job to return to. Millions of these homes in forbearance are going to be sold. Homes whose owners moved into their recently new bought property, their new home, they're going to end up selling their other home. That home will go on the market. A lot of people went and bought homes. Maybe people fleeing certain cities went and bought other homes, but they haven't sold their other home yet, their primary residence, the one they moved out of. That hasn't even gone on the market yet. Homes owned by investors that are being used as vacation rentals. These homes are going to land up on the market. Why? Because people aren't going to vacation like they once did. They're not going to travel like they once did. They're too scared and they're too broke. And so you can see that at some point we're going to see a lot of supply hitting the market at some point. It's going to hit it like a giant wave. And what is that going to do to prices? They're going to come way down. Look, this economy is sick. It is dying. And people are losing jobs right now. People are not returning to work. People are losing a side hustle. People are taking wage cuts. People are being forced to move in with family members. They're forced to take roommates just to keep their heads above water, to make rent, to make these mortgage payments. Again, this whole thing is a ticking time bomb. We are going to see the housing bubble get hit with a sledgehammer, and you are going to see millions of homes hit the market. I believe the people who are patient, the people who are saving up money, who have assets put away, who have patience, you know and I know the sales are coming. Market Watch, more unemployed Americans are exhausting state benefits and facing bleak job prospects. That's on Market Watch today. 3.3 million people are getting federal benefits. I think I said that earlier. This does not include the state of Florida, Georgia, and Kentucky. That would put that number probably over 4 million. Look, there's no way that this housing market is sustainable with this economy. There's a huge contradiction here. When people aren't working, when you have tens of millions of people unemployed, when you have people taking wage cuts, when people are getting their side hustles cut out, when there is just this type of uncertainty with this economy, are you going to have a job tomorrow, next week, next year? I can't believe anybody would even buy a house right now this year, knowing that this election is coming, watching the volatility in the stock market, looking at the massive unemployment. You gotta know, just common sense tells you that this is a massive bubble. How can you not see the housing bubble we are in right now? Look, this is no shot at any real estate agent, but any real estate agent telling you this is a good time to buy a house, they are flat out lying to you. This to me would be the worst possible time to buy a house, let alone any other big purchase like a new car. This is the time, ladies and gentlemen, you better be hunkering down. You got to be getting in survival mode. This is not the time to be buying a new house, in my personal opinion. I'm not giving anybody financial advice. CNBC, unemployment claims are down. It's not all for good reasons. I believe the Thursday number came in at 787,000. Boy, this was great news according to the economists on television. This is progress. We finally came in under 800,000. But remember, people are rolling off state unemployment. And remember, 345,000 filed for PUA benefits last week. In the meantime, they weren't being counted. So together, if you take those people who rolled off and then filed for PUA benefits, that puts the toll over 1.1 million. Remember, PUA is Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation. So the number is not really improving. And anybody that says losing 787,000 jobs in a week is good news, I mean, that's how far in the twilight zone we are at this point. And yet, the markets don't even get rattled by this. This is always good news. The more jobs we lose continues to be good news. All these markets care about is the next stimulus injection, which is coming at some point. I don't think we're going to see stimulus checks this year. That's my humble opinion. And this leads me to my last point. Money is gold. Nothing else is, ladies and gentlemen. And if I can stress one thing on this Friday evening, you better have real money for what's coming. This is going to be, no doubt, an economic reckoning that is going to hit America like a sledgehammer. We have never seen so many bubbles. These markets are so disconnected from reality. The only thing that is going to matter is what you are holding, what you can access. Not a piece of paper, not some faith in a currency, but a real asset like gold, like silver. Yes, I do believe you better be holding some dollars. The dollar is worth something until it's not. But what we do know throughout history is gold and silver has never been worth zero. You better have all preparations like food and water and security, etc., etc., etc. I don't know about you, but I'm getting a very, very bad feeling about where all this is going. And just watching the volatility in these markets and just listening to what people are saying in the comments down below, I think America is going to see some of the deepest, darkest times. This economy, ladies and gentlemen, is collapsing right before your very eyes. I cannot stress it enough. I know people believe that everything's going to be okay because the television tells them nothing bad can happen to America, but take a good look around. I've never seen so many restaurants and stores permanently closed. I have never seen so many homeless people wandering around. And I have never seen so many people concerned about where all this is going. Read the comments down below. Look, it's not just happening in California. It is happening all over America. It's happening all over the world. And you are dazed and confused if you think that this is all going to be fixed in 2021, that somebody's going to wave a magic wand, turn the switch back on, the economy is going to come roaring. This is going to take years and years to recover from. My county, Riverside County, the fourth biggest county in California, is shutting down tonight. Restaurants hair salons, barbershops, gyms, etc. It's all shutting down. It's going to be a nail in the coffin for the economy here in the fourth biggest economy or fourth biggest county here in California. And much of America has not reopened. You cannot have a business function at 25, 50% capacity. Now cold weather heading back east. These restaurants now are going to be in very, very big trouble as they are not going to survive with indoor dining at 25%. But you can bet the Walmarts, the Targets, the Burger Kings, the McDonald's, the Taco Bells, the Costco's will all be open for business. But the small mom and pop restaurant is going to suffer just like the small mom and pop retailer has suffered. Ladies and gentlemen, very scary times, and I'm not here to just feed you doom and gloom. I'm here to tell you the truth. These are extremely scary times. You must be preparing the best that you can. And unfortunately, millions of Americans, it's already too late. It is really going to be a historic time, I believe, in 2021 as we begin to see the fallout and the blowback from what has occurred in 2020. And look, this has taken decades to get to this point. The debt didn't just happen overnight. The manipulation didn't just start yesterday. But the day of reckoning is coming to the economy. The day of reckoning is coming to America. Reality is coming to Wall Street. Okay, I know that Wall Street believes that this can't happen. I know that all the Robinhood traders can't believe this is going to happen. I know that people with 401ks and pensions believe that this can't happen because they were promised this money. They were promised that they would get this money. They were promised that nothing bad could happen to Wall Street or to the economy or to the US dollar. I'm here to tell you it's already beginning. Just take a look at what is happening. And if you don't look and face reality today, tomorrow, when it all collapses, and I don't mean literally tomorrow, but the day of this collapse is getting very, very close. And when it happens, don't blame anybody else. Take a look in the mirror and blame yourself because you were oblivious to what was taking place. Did you really think all this manipulation, all this bank manipulation, all this market manipulation? I mean, they are manipulating full-on economies now. They're manipulating stock markets across the world, currencies. Everything is an illusion. Can't you see what is really taking place? The warning signs are everywhere. You are going to only be able to blame yourself. If you're watching this video, take this weekend and prepare. God bless every one of you. Have a great weekend. Prepare, walk close to God. Things are getting extremely, extremely dire.